Welcome, everybody, to the Teams to Power 767 campaign podcast.
This is a new podcast solely dedicated to the Teamster Power Slate running for Local 767 office in November of 2024. Regardless of the outcome, we intend to continue the Reality Check podcast dedicated to the education of the members locally and across the country. Our goal, in or out of office, is to educate as many Teamsters as possible.
All right, so we're gonna get right into it today. We're gonna have an episode on about mechanics, and today we have John Cashin, mechanic out of Hazlitt, and you know, so John, we're gonna ask you what's going on with the mechanics, what's good, what's bad, in terms of every day in terms of the contract. Speak your piece.
Well, I guess my biggest complaint is that, over the last few years with automotive, we've gone from a 5-day-a-week operation to a 7-day-a-week operation, and they haven't hired any more mechanics, and they've slowly gotten rid of managers and supervisors. So now the mechanics are expected to answer the phone, even though that's not in our job duties.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a problem in my opinion, because you're trying to work on something, and just like with the package car driver, where it's important that they deliver packages in a timely manner.
Yep.
They want us to do PMIs and do repairs in a certain way, and we can't, because you have to stop and answer the phone every 30 minutes.
What, just out of curiosity, how many trucks are you responsible for as an individual mechanic?
Well, I believe that what UPS wants is either 33 package cars or 17 tractors. I'm in a bid spot for trailers. You always bid the start time, not the job in automotive.
Yeah.
You'd have to look at every shop individually. Sometimes the mechanics have as many as 50 package cars, which is considerably more than they should have. And then you compound that with them being CNGs, because as a package car driver, for sure, Jeff Shinfield knows that the CNGs are apt to have more problems than a gasoline or a diesel. I don't know, Garfield, what's in the McKinney building, and I certainly don't know what was in the Sherman building. But
in the McKinney building, we have probably around 200 cars. Our mechanics, I was actually just having this conversation last week with one of our mechanics. Our mechanics are responsible for 60 package cars each.
Well, that's twice what UPS recommended, 10 years ago. I haven't seen a written number in a long time.
Yeah. And Sherman only has one mechanic, and I think they have about 35 or 40 cars. And he's
he's a good mechanic. I've met that guy a few times. He's a good mechanic.
It's I mean, of course they're asking more of everyone, like they always do, and they don't want to do their part. And it just they try to put the pressure on you. But let me ask you something else. So, with this new contract, I know we've talked over the years, John, and you've always had an issue with the layoff language. Well, what do you think of that layoff language now?
It got worse. Okay, so here's the deal. This is just John Cashin's opinion, but I don't feel like I'm on an island here. I feel like a lot of people have this opinion. So the part-timers are our future. Mechanics are a different breed, but most people that we talk to on a daily basis, no matter what position they're in, they started as a part-timer. And the part-timers actually lost contract language, and somehow that was admitted from the stuff we got to make a decision on whether we voted yes or no on this contract. But the contract language is pitiful. All we'd have to do is change one sentence from "will displace 2 part-time workers" to "will keep your bid job for the first 4 hours of your shift." And if we did that as a union, as the IBT, all the layoffs would stop, because they couldn't screw you over and cut your pay by half and give you some crappy job. But yes, I was laid off in 2009. I didn't get 7 days notice. I didn't get 7 days pay. I didn't get to bid the job I got. And then when I went and tried to bid the job I got, a steward called management and complained and said I didn't bid that job. I just took it, even though I was qualified for it. So I have a very bad taste in my mouth over layoff language. And in fact, that's what started me as a unionist and put me where I am today. That fire that they lit in
Mhm.
2009 that no one will ever extinguish,
Yeah.
because they didn't follow the contract. And I expect UPS to not follow the contract at every opportunity, but I expect the union to use
Mhm.
the contract as a tool to protect me and all my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And when we
Yeah.
were
I mean,
facing all the
that's, you know,
layoffs in the McKinney building this year, when they were laying off, at one point, I think we had 16 people on layoff, 16 drivers on layoff. And I tried to argue the 7-day language, um, that says, hey, you're supposed to give them 7 days notice before they do that. And I was told by members of our current local leadership that because they were being laid off to preload and not laid off as in back onto the street, that didn't count. And I was like, well, they're still being laid off. You're still using the term laid off for them. So they should still get 7 days notice. Oh no, we don't have to do that.
Well, it's 10 days now. It's
Yeah,
gone to
10
10
days.
days.
Yeah, it's 10 days
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yep.
So they
Yep.
did they
They
did
jumped
do
it up.
that. They did do
Yep.
that.
Yep. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, it's always a matter of, you know, the company's going to do stuff, we have to hold them to the contract, right? That's always
well, yes.
the thing. Yeah, no, that's a given. So one other thing I wanted to talk about, what about the tool allowance? What did it only go up like $100?
Okay, so oh boy. Yeah, I don't, so everyone's different, right? If we go poll 3 mechanics, you're going to get 3 different answers. And if
Yeah.
you'd like, I could try to call a half a dozen, even a dozen mechanics over the next week or two and specifically ask that question if you'd like for an answer that you could put on another podcast. But for me, I won't say it's a slap in the face, but it's ridiculous. I mean, you're going to say $400. So, okay, let's digress. So I started in 04 and the tool allowance has always been $300. And
Mhm.
so at a union meeting last year, they asked me to go into a business agent's office and ask me for some ideas on some contract. I don't know what word they used. I don't remember now. That you could jump. I'm drawing a blank, but changes to the contract. And so I have a lot of
Verbiage,
changes. What?
contract verbiage,
Well, they
language,
don't call it that. It was a contract suggestions. I don't remember. They used
Oh
proposal,
yeah. Yeah.
yes,
proposal.
contract proposals.
Proposals.
I
Yeah.
said, heck
Yeah.
yeah, man, I got like a dozen contract proposals. And if you'd
Oh
like
yeah.
right now, I could go over a bunch of them with you. But I know for a fact that Jeff and I have had conversations about these for the last 5 years. And I just wear them out about them because they're simple changes that would change the way we treat people. But it goes back to we don't respect our part-timers and we should. And then my
No.
other big concern is about our sleeper team drivers. A lot of our sleeper team drivers are high seniority drivers, and we just let them get screwed with their language. And I don't understand because I hope that us all three one day are 30-year seniority employees, and I don't want us to get screwed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had proposed $1,000 tool bonus. It wasn't. It was
Mhm.
partially my idea. It was idea of other mechanics, and I'd been asked by a business agent for some contract proposals, and that's the one they wanted me to do. So I helped them with the wordage, and we ended up actually calling a sleeper team driver a couple of days later and talking to him about better language and making it where it looked really nice. Did that change the contract, or did other people make that same proposal? No one ever got back with me. I didn't ask them to, but we did
Yeah.
get $100 a year out of that. And I mean, okay, great. But I mean, you'd have to go online and look. But a set of Snap-on wrenches, they're not $400. They're
Yeah.
more than that. So
Yep.
$400 won't even buy a set of sockets on the Snap-on truck. So is UPS responsible for buying my tools? No. Am I fairly compensated as a mechanic in this area? Yes, I'm drawing a good salary. Is it the best salary around? No, but if you include my benefits package, I am fairly compensated. I'm not complaining about a tool allowance, but $100 tool allowance is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you added $100 to the tool allowance. Why didn't we get
Yeah.
$100 a month for all the part timers? I'd much rather the tool allowance go away and we get 2 more option days. Much rather.
Yeah, no, and it's no, we appreciate that, you know, because you know the part timers you know everyone's important, and yeah, the part timers have been left out. But you know, John, I just want to say I appreciate you coming on to the podcast and being honest like you always are. I mean, just brutally honest, and we love that. We love that, brother. We do, and we wanted to make sure we covered the mechanics. So for myself, Garfield, and John Cash, and we want to thank you, and everyone have a good day.
This is how